Mr. Speaker,
yes.
Though I'm not in your chambers, but I will address you as Mr. Speaker. A very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Let our viewers just meet you and know who the Speaker of Plateau State of Assembly is.
Well, my name is Abok Ayuba, the Speaker Plateau State House of Assembly, member representing the good people of Justice local government, and a member of the platform of Not Too Young to Run. That's the platform that brought us to power. I'm from Football District in Justice local government, those that knows Justice very well. I contested and won my election in 2019. It was just a decision that we took, collective of a youth with the same mindset of developing and contributing our own quota in building our state, who came and met me that they need someone who is within their level to contest for the House of Assembly, which in the first I declined, but not to let them down. They went back and came back again, and they told me that I must be there to contribute, so that through me they will bring their own advice, so that we contribute in the rebuilding of Plateau State, which I later on accepted. And with the youth, we went around the local government. We went down to the grassroots, to the electorate. We told them what we can do and what we are expected if, by the grace of God, we voted into power, which they agreed with us, and they gave us, they gave me in particular their mandates, which today I won my election, and I'm telling you that I'm always with the people of my constituency to go back. My primary responsibility, as a legislator, is lawmaking. You receive from your people, you take back information based on lawmaking, and sensitize them. They should know. You must tell them how lawmaking is and everything, and of course, they will give you back what you will bring to that arm of government to pass it as laws that will govern the state. So we have been doing that, aside from little thing that we usually do as politicians, but the main aim and the primary responsibility is lawmaking, which we have been doing that perfectly. As a young person, I was opportuned, it's not usually given that position, since not usually given to the young people. But I got my election when I was 32 years. I was born in 1986, August to be precise. So I got election at a very tender age, and I was made the Speaker of the House of Assembly, which has never been done in that state like that. Yes. We are 4 in Nigeria. Those below 35 we are 4. Oyo, Plateau, Kwara, and Zamfara. Okay. And we have our own forum, which we always work with Yaga Africa. Okay. So we are trying to bring that change, that youthful change within those arm of government, to make sure that yes, we people will not have any regret in voting us into power.
Okay, I'm very sure that at the time of when your people called you to come and contest and run for the position, you were not visualizing being the Speaker of the House. So at what point did the desire to become a Speaker come up, or is it that it just happened on that day in the House and you were picked?
Well, in everything, as a believer, I always appreciate God for everything, because I believe that every power is being given to you by God at His own given time. I always give everything to God, because when I was contesting, the dream of becoming the Speaker was not totally there. It was just to prove a point that we, the youth, we can do it, we can come into power, and we can do better than, in as much we cannot say that those that have been there have not contributed their own quota, but we want to prove that we are the future. If you are building the state, we are building our own homes that will make it better for a very nice place for us to live, rather than those that are, they have gone far, they are advanced in age, sometimes they think of their own children, not today. So as God would make it, I am a first timer. It's my first time that venturing into any politics, and when I won the election, God just took it that the person that is supposed to be the speaker won his election equally. And as God would make it, he passed away. And since it is God that gives power, God brought me. And of course, it has never been done again in Plateau State. And that's when for the opposition and for the ruling party to come together to choose to nominate a single person and give him power.
Without any other contest.
From rancor.
Yeah, there's no any rancor. It was a collective idea. But the 23 members who voted for me, they supported the APC nominated and the PDP supported.
Okay. Yes. Wow. That you must be a very, very lucky person. Yeah. So, like you have said, you are a few lucky ones. The youth under the age of 35 that got elected, and you are a speaker. Yeah. So between 2019 and now as a lawmaker, because your first role is a lawmaker, yeah, before the speaker as a position. Yeah. So how would you say it has been? How well have you been able to represent your people in terms of meaningful leadership, development, infrastructure, and bringing meaningful development to Jos East, where that you represent?
Well, at this stage now, it's all about Plateau State. It's not more about my own constituency in particular. Okay. In as much that, yes, there's some particular things that I must have to go back to my constituency to ask, because I'm representing them, to ask in whatever that I'm doing in the House of Assembly. There's mostly town hall meetings. So I've held several town hall meetings with my constituents to enlighten them, and of course, to get information to them to bring to the House of Assembly what we call as law. But I'm just one among the equal. The speaker always has at the head whatever decision that is being taken by the four of us. We just work by it. And sincerely speaking, it has not been easy, and I'm so disappointed. It's so disappointing as a young person what we see on ground, and we feel that we as people can do better than the way we are now. And we have been trying to improve that's the working condition, and of course the way of making laws of that arm of government, and try to bring the needed change. Like I said, as a young person, we concentrate on reading our books, and of course bringing that needed change, which we want to create a state that we always love. Especially Plateau State is one state that we know has faced with series of challenges, crisis, and so many other things. So we are trying to bridge that gap, to bring ourselves together rather than fighting ourselves. Let us concentrate in building Plateau State. So those are the law currently we are making. You cannot do that without resources. What we usually call the national cake is not forthcoming. So those that came before us may have been lucky to have that, and the development is far behind. So now there's no anything like national cake. So we are working so hard on how to raise the IGR for our state. So we have worked with so many laws that will increase the IGR of our state. Before now, when we came in, the IGR was just like 400 million monthly, 500 million at most. But now with the new law that we brought, the revenue law in Plateau State we brought, which we think is the most important law in the history and in the life of the people of Plateau State. We are now we have started generating up to 1.5 billion, and we have the target in the next 5 months we reach like 3 to 4 billion naira monthly. So we are working so hard on that. And currently, even today, there's swearing in for the boards, those that are created for the new revenue law, those that will go around and mobilize the collections of the revenue. So we are working so hard on so many kidnapping law, child right, child molestation, the girl child rape and other things, the kidnapping law, autism, and so many laws. But put them on ground, those are the challenges that bring every nation down instead of progressing. Those things, those are the challenges we are facing. Especially the popular thing in the entire country today is the bandit and this kidnapping. So we are working on those laws, and we have passed some. We have passed the girl child law. We have passed the raping and the raping law, child molestation. We are currently working on land grabbing and kidnapping law, which we were faced with attacks from the other, we call it planning. When they attack you, they send you out of your home, they take over the land. So that is what we call as land grabbing. So we are trying to bring the law. A person that they have not been in Plateau State, you just see you having someone's property because you killed him. So all those things were open.
Okay. If you are just joining us, this is Ben Television. Wherever you are watching from all over the world, we are speaking with the Speaker of Plateau State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Abok. I hope I pronounced that very well. Yes. And he has been telling us what he has been able to do in Plateau State since he has been elected as the Speaker of the House. One of the youngest, he said. The thing is, he made some remarks earlier that as a young person that has been given opportunity to be in position of leadership in Plateau State, he is not taking that for granted, and he wants to make sure he does everything possible to make sure that his impact as a speaker in the House is being felt. Honorable, you are welcome again.
Thank you.
Now, very quickly before we go into national politics, how would you describe your relationship with your state governor in Plateau State?
Well, in any legislative setting, the dispute between the executive and the legislators is always there, because it's a fighting of supremacy who think that I'm the most respectful, who should be number one and who should be number two. That fight is always there. But then we came with the mindset of developing our state. We don't see that as a challenge at all. He's the executive governor, and he's the ceremonial head of the state, who, by mandate of the people, is there. And of course, we always give him respect for that. And of course, he has been someone that have the interest of the people. That has been our prayers, because you cannot represent your people if the governor or the president doesn't have the interest of the people. So he's one person that before 2015, Plateau State was kind of a war zone that you cannot go. It's a no-go area. But now we have that needed peace in Plateau State. That is why we are talking about the IGR. If not because of peace, you will not do anything. Peace is non-bound thing. So we have been working together, even though you always have agreeing and disagreeing. That is normal.
The process of governance.
Check and balancing. So that is normal. But whenever we disagree, we will sit down and look at the interests. And of course, one of us may come down. We must have to come down for the benefit of the people of the state to accept the other person, not because they serve as a constraint, but rather for the interest of the masses. Sometimes they say when the two elephants are fighting, the grass
will suffer.
So we don't want that to happen. So we always have that in mind, and when we are working, we always have that in mind. And whenever we have any challenges, but so far so good, we have been working cordially. We take our advice, and of course we usually receive views. And since our assumption in office, we have been passing budgets. December, have been maintaining December, January implementation. So he usually brings his budget very early, and on Tuesday, by the grace of God, we're going to pass our budget, and we are hoping Tuesday being 15, by 16, 17, we'll sign the budget into law.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That was saying, Honorable Speaker, Plateau growing up used to be a place where industries were thriving. And I'm very happy you talked about the IGR rising from about 400 million, 500 million to 1.5 billion now, and there are plans to really raise it higher. So what are the plans? Are there any laws? Are there any areas you are collaborating with the executive arm to resuscitate some of all these companies, some of all these industries that are now packed up in Plateau State?
Yes, there has been plan to revive also those companies, and like I said, we were lucky. The executive head of the state was a speaker, so he knows the government very well. He has touched all the three arm of our government. He has been a speaker, and he's a lawyer. When I say the lawyer, that has gone through judiciary, and today he's in the executive. So he has touched all the sectors, and he's working so hard. Like, we have so many companies that have gone down. Today, I can guarantee you that many are coming back, like the NASCO, the JIE, and other. We have all these potato processing plants and being established in Plateau State, and many of them are still coming back. Yes, he's working so hard on bringing back the just main market that we used to know, the popular market in the entire West Africa. So we are trying to bring all those things back to Plateau State. So he's working so hard on bringing, reviving all the companies that are in Plateau State, so that of course they will serve as source of revenue.
Okay, you are of the APC extraction,
Yes.
and there is also this notion in Plateau State that like we gathered, we are not from Plateau, we are news people, and we go around getting our information, that Plateau is a PDP state, that you people are just marking time. When I mean you people, I mean the All Progressive Congress, just marking time in Plateau State, and possibly in the next general election, Plateau State will go back to PDP. Are there elements of truth in this? And how deep-rooted is the All Progressive Congress in Plateau State?
Well, I will tell you that when it comes to issue of platforms for contests, one cannot tell you that confidently that I will. PDP have said it that they are the strongest party in the entire Africa, but APC took over. So I think the same goes down to Plateau State. Plateau State, no one will tell you that a single party is controlling Plateau State. It has never been like that. It's just like any other state, that PDP have ruled. They have gone. Now is the time for the APC to rule. And whenever the people feel that the APC, they no longer need APC, the success of the APC, of course, if they say that they don't need APC, why not? Of course, APC will pack their lot and go. So Plateau State mostly is not about partisan politics. It's one state that they understand politics very well. I can tell you that in Plateau State, when you talk about partisan politics, you are not going to succeed. People look at you and they judge you by what you do for them, what they stand to benefit, and what progress are you bringing to the state based on what you bring, what you present to them. So by that, people can vote for you, give you support of whatever kind, and of course in whatever party you can win election in Plateau State. It mustn't be APC and PDP alone.
Like we said earlier before now, if you are just joining us, we are still talking to Right Honorable Abok. He is the Speaker of Plateau State House of Assembly, and he is always quick to remind you that he was brought up in politics as a result of not too young to run bill that was signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari that gave him the opportunity to be elected first as a legislature, and going into the House, somehow fortune also smiled on him and he became the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly. And every time you have that opportunity of talking to him, you still see him telling you, I am a very fortunate person and I don't want to let my people down. So, Honorable, we are going to be going into national politics now. A few people believe that the All Progressive Congress has not done well. We have indices like the dollar was 150 naira before the All Progressive Congress came into power, and now the dollar is above 500 naira. The cost of things everywhere. We see have banditry in the northeast and a few things. So, as a legislature, as a youth first and foremost, and as a legislator and a speaker, somebody that is also very, very much informed, how would you describe the period the All Progressive Congress has been in power nationally compared to how it used to be, and what would you attribute to some of all these noticeable changes that we have had in the last 5-6 years?
Well, and that would draw us back to the entire state called Nigeria. Before now, we have had leaders from various zones of the country, which everybody will come with his leadership style and the rule. Of course, it all depends on how people see it and how they love it. In Nigeria, to be sincere, we have never had, going by the history as a young person, I have never read anywhere that a leader has been praised when he is in power. Normally, Nigeria as a state, that you have that challenges because, Professor, this South African barrister always said that when a thief is caught in Nigeria, particular people will come and claim it that it is our thief to go. So it was Lumumba, like Professor Lumumba used to say. So it has always been like that in this country. Always, everybody wants to protect his own. Until when we take that out of our mind, we'll never get it right. That is based on my own thinking, right? But then the other aspect, the APC, to talk about APC as a government, APC came with its own challenges. When the APC came into power, things were not the way it was. Like comparing, we are over dependent on oil. When you depend on a single thing, that is a challenge you face when crisis broke on those. That's a particular thing that you are depending on. For example, we know we depend on oil, and when all the challenges came, the oil came, it's not, before now, 2013, 2014, oil used to go for $100 up to $120 per barrel. Today, since the APC came into power, it has not been that. It has been below 50, 60, I think the highest is $70 per barrel. You cannot compare the same government that has been depending on that as a source of income. You cannot, when you begin to compare like that. Going to the issue of the security, I think, yes, when the president came into power in 2015, he tried his best to make sure that the most popular crime that has been committed by a state in Nigeria called Boko Haram was reduced. That was reduced then between when you begin to look at it from 2015 to down to 2018, 2017. But now they turned the crime, when you are working on this sector, the devil doesn't sleep. The devil has a way of coming back. Now it is the issue of bandit. I think that is the most challenging, even though the Boko Haram is yet to be over, but the most challenging one is the bandit, which thousands of people have been killed, properties have been lost, and houses, people have been sent out of their homes. That is what I believe that is what the president is currently looking at, how to deal with that. We were faced with the challenges of this coronavirus, which ravaging the entire world. It has been a very great challenge to the entire nation, the entire world. So I know the president is working so hard to make sure that we cannot deny that there's very challenges about security. We have security challenge in this country, and I know that the president is being a former general and of course a former head of state during the military era. I know they are putting their head together to make sure that something is done.
Thank you very much. We won't complete this interview without talking about Nigerians in diaspora, especially those of Plateau origin. Now, one thing I've noticed in the past is that a few people that are outside there, they have stayed for so long, they want to come home to do one or two things. Are there enabling environment, are there laws that you are making in Nigeria to make sure that Nigerians in diaspora can come home either to invest or to build or to do one or two things to contribute their quota to nation and the development of the state?
Being a state legislator, the constraint is that we always work on concurring, not exclusive lists. And that will be led to the National Assembly. But then, in our Bible state, we always welcome our aunts and we always pray for them whenever they are going. By way of giving them affidavit and so many other things to access their visas, and when they are going back, we always provide that to be much more easier than that. So we always work for that, and of course, being there, they are representing us. We are very, very happy because they are staying there, and of course, sometimes what they do there is sometimes wake us from our sleeps, serve as a challenge, knowing what is happening outside, and to come back to your own home, you see, you are expecting to see the same. Sometimes it's very difficult. So in our various state, we are working in a little way that we can't to make sure that I will provide an environment for them. And Nigeria, they're going by the history. Once they are there. Citizen by registration, but when they come here, they are citizen by birth. So you cannot deny that them, you cannot deny that right for them. So they are always welcome to.
Okay, you talked about IGR. That's the last question I will ask before we put it to a close. Like those that want to come and set up businesses in Plateau State from your state, and others that might be interested in your state, how easy is it for them to set up businesses in Plateau State?
Well, the government of today is very productive, very welcoming, and very ready to accept whoever that has the business idea that will boost our state up and will increase our IGR, of course, and move the entire nation forward. We will always welcome them. In fact, sometimes the governor have gone out to bring people into the state. We have organized so many things that will tell the people that we are living in peace, especially in Plateau State to be particular. We have done that to show that the crisis that was faced, and of course in every nation you face challenges before the nation. We say challenges is part of your building as to be a strong nation. We have taken our own part in Plateau State, and of course Plateau State now is more stronger and more understandable. And I'm telling you that when it comes to issue of peace and enabling environment for you to settle your business, Plateau State is the place. Come to Plateau State, and by the grace of God, we are inviting them day in, day out to come to Plateau State and set their business. Okay,
thank you very much, Right Honorable Abok. What will be your last word, your advice for Nigerians, people in Plateau State, and those in diaspora as a way of closing this?
Well, like I said in the beginning, I'm a believer. The most strong one is prayers. Let us continue to pray for the state of the nation, Nigeria. We are currently facing series of challenges, and I always, based on the history, I know most of the developed countries have faced these challenges. So let us keep our fingers crossed, bring productive advice, help the nation, and don't bring down the nation. You must have a state before you advance to another country. So those in the diaspora, we need their contribution. We need them to come home and contribute productively to our nation so that our nation will progress. And us in Nigeria, let us keep our fingers crossed. Whatever we know that is the challenge, let us provide a way of helping, not a way of destruction. And that's the most.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable. We normally do this. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and we know we'll definitely come again if there is a need to come and do. If it's even possible to come to Plateau State to come and see one or two things that you have done, it will really be our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for staying with us. We have been talking to the Speaker of Plateau State House of Assembly, and you heard him. For those of you that have been with us for some time, you heard everything he said, and I would have been re-echoing this, and I'm going to do this again and again. He kept reminding everybody that he's a young man and is not ready to trade that for anything. So the dynamism that goes with being a young person is what he is bringing to bear as far as leadership and the House of Assembly is concerned in Plateau State. Keep a date with us on a later date. Thank you very much for joining us.